Radio Rahim here with Trainer of the Year, Robert Garcia. You know, Robert, you've kind of got that Trainer of the Year curse, as so many have. You're really like one of the top three, and now all three of you have had Trainer of the Year once. This is your turnaround, and when that happens, you get so busy. You already had such a big stable before you got the honor, and now it seems that your fighters are fighting so close together that it's tough for you to be in two places at once, as it would be for anyone. Talk to me about how you deal with that challenge.
Well, it's a challenge, and it's also teamwork. You know, it takes a great team to be able to pull it off. You know, I have to train Maidana at 10 in the morning. After 10, I have to get in my car and drive 2 hours to Riverside to train my brother at 2 o'clock, and then drive back home to finish up in Oxnard with the rest of my fighters. But I have a great team that stay in Oxnard and are working with my other fighters that are getting ready for fights in July or stuff like that. But you know, it's just a matter of having a good team. I made a good team. I have great guys that help me out, great conditioning coaches that are working with my fighters. So you know, that's what it takes. You know, a great team and people that are listening, fighters that follow instructions, fighters that understand that I need to be working and I need to be traveling. So you know, I'm glad that all my fighters understand and all my team is on board.
Now, that's only half the so-called curse. The other half is that, you know, your marquee fighters start taking losses. I don't know why that is, but that seems to be borne out by history. I got to take you back to the Donaire fight and the challenge of being in two places at one time, like we just discussed. You had Rios and you had Donaire fighting close together, and you definitely seem to favor the Rios camp. That's where you spend most of your time. Why did you make that decision?
It's not that I favor, you know, it's not that I favor. The thing is, I'm in Oxnard, and that's where Brandon's at. With Nonito, I have to travel to San Francisco, and it's not a 2-hour drive, it's a 6-hour drive. So I don't do it every day. I have to do it once or twice a week. For this fight, I didn't start traveling until after Brandon's fight, which was 2 weeks before Nonito's fight. So I didn't get to spend a lot of time. You know, like Nonito even mentioned, you know, we didn't have that much time or communication between fights. I focused on Brandon, and Nonito was training in Northern California. You know, it's something that you know, we have to sit down and talk with Nonito, Cameron Duncan. Hopefully we could figure something out and make it work for us. But it definitely that is a hard move for me to be traveling all the way to San Francisco. You know, with my kids, it's a lot easier because, you know, to get there from Oxnard to Riverside, it's an hour and a half. The trouble is driving back, you know, maybe 3-hour drive because of the traffic, but it's already after work, after I've done my job with my guys in Oxnard at 10 in the morning, or when Brandon trains early also. So that is never a problem. The problem is when I have to go to San Francisco. And for this last fight, like I told you, I joined Nonito's training camp 2 weeks before his fight, and that's something that shouldn't happen. It affected not only me but Nonito with the loss. You know, it's something that we definitely hate to lose, and this time it happened, and hopefully we both, not only myself but Nonito, Cameron Duncan, we all learn from that.
You said it definitely affected Nonito. I think a lot of the critics would agree. He's such a technical fighter. He comes in with so much strategy, and we were surprised to see him bested in strategy of all things by Rigondeaux. Do you think, given another shot at Rigondeaux, not only that he could do better, and secondly, did you guys take him maybe a little too lightly because he hadn't had so many fights and Nonito was so confident that he could dispense of him easily? I think it's a little bit of everything.
Nonito might have thought, you know, this guy's only got 11 fights, he's not in my level, and might have taken the fight light. Nonito always trains hard, but I wasn't there. You know, I was there the last 2 weeks, so I wasn't there to see how training was going. But you know, I was confident that Nonito always trains hard, but it does affect. You know, a loss is always looks really bad on the record, especially when everybody expecting you to win and everybody expecting you to be pound for pound one of the best fighters. It's hard to lose, but we also got to know that we lost to one of the best fighters in the moment, maybe the best Cuban ever. You know, Rigondeaux is a tremendous fighter, tremendous skills, so I can't take anything away from him. He came out with a game plan. He came out and did what he had to do and won very, very convincingly.
Now turning to another tough loss this year, obviously, is Brandon Rios and Mike Alvarado. You know, the rematch of Fight of the Year. No one can take anything from Mike. No one can take anything from Rios in the first or the second fight. But immediately thereafter, we know how emotional Brandon can be. He wanted the rematch. He felt like he wanted to do it right then. First of all, he got the Pacquiao fight instead, which I think most fighters would prefer. But as far as you're concerned, is Pacquiao a better fight, a tougher fight than Alvarado, or is Alvarado a better fight? I mean,
look, with Alvarado, every time, you know, if they fight for the third time, it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a war. It's going to be what people have seen twice. As we, me and Brandon talk, you know, the fight was so close. It could have gone either way. Okay, Alvarado took it. I talked him into understanding and taking the loss. But like I told him, you know, Brandon, you didn't lose. You know, the fight was so close. You didn't take a beating. You were clean. And look, now you got Pacquiao. So in reality, you won, because now he's got the big fight against Pacquiao. Pacquiao could be easier this time. Now we don't know. You know, if we talk about Pacquiao 4 or 5 years ago, then we could say, damn, it's gonna be it's gonna be a very hard fight to win. But Pacquiao now, after he got knocked out against Marcos, we just got to see what Pacquiao comes out. You know, he might be better, he might be stronger than ever, but then again, he might be on his way down already, and that's going to be a fight that we should take advantage of.
Now, one thing that you said before the Rios-Alvarado fight was that you didn't feel he needed to make any adjustments for Alvarado, that you were going to come in and do the same thing. You felt like Alvarado would do the same thing. Well, we've seen so much of Pacquiao, we've seen so much of Rios. Styles make fights, and for style, it would seem that Pacquiao would have the advantage. So in this fight, do you think that you're going to need to adjust Rios in any way to give him an advantage?
Look, Rios is a brawler. That's all people have seen. We've always tried to maybe use a little bit more jabs or anything, but come the day of the fight, Brandon loves to fight. Brandon loves to fight. He smiles when he gets hit. So all people are going to see that night is going to be a hell of a fight, a war. Brandon could take a punch. So the fight, you know, the fight's gonna be very full of action, and so does Pacquiao. You know, Pacquiao is one that gives exciting fights also. So, you know, fans are going to enjoy a great fight.